Hello everybody, welcome to Dream News Never Ends. I am your host, Bonkotzu, and you might be asking yourself, what exactly does Dream News Never Ends? Thank you for asking. Well, it basically means that there was some SNK news that came out over the weekend, and I thought they were interesting enough and wanted to talk about them. So I figured I would just make this little thing where I can occasionally talk about SNK news that I find interesting. Now, for the first bit of news that I'm going to be talking about, it is the SNK collaboration that got announced over the weekend by none other than Kotobukiya themselves. Now, if you don't know Kotobukiya, they are a company that basically makes figurines, statues, and collectibles. So if you are interested in those kind of collectibles, I hear there are good quality and very well made. I don't have one myself. As you may be able to tell behind me, I do collect model kits, Gundam model kits. I don't really collect figures or statues because I don't really see the appeal out of it. But if they're gonna be making SNK related figures or statues, then I might try and get one of them or all of them. Now, the announcement comes from Kotobukiya's Instagram itself. It might have been posted on Twitter as well. I don't use Twitter because Twitter sucks, so I don't know if it's on there either, but I do have their Instagram pulled up right over here. So as you can see right here, this was the official post that they made. It reads new Bishoujo info, which means beautiful lady. The Bishoujo line is a line that Kotobukiya has had for a while, where basically what they do is they take female characters from other franchises and they make beautiful statues out of them. So the rest of the post reads, an SNK Bishoujo series is now in the works. Characters from the King of Fighters 98, as they have over here, King of Fighters 98 Dream Match Never Ends. Might have been where I got the name for this video, but it also reads, and SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy will be joining the Bishoujo statue lineup. Let us know what characters you want to see as a Bishoujo. Now, this is very interesting, and they also have over here the SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy logo, I guess. Now, the interesting thing about this is that their Bishoujo line it's the beautiful ladies line. It's a line for them to make statues about beautiful ladies, female characters, and a lot of different IPs. But they are also very well known for making female gender bends of male characters. Most popularly known, their horror movie lineup, where they took horror movie male villains and turned them into these very attractive female versions. Their most popular is obviously the Freddy Krueger and the Jason Voorhees that they made. They also made fairly recently a Leatherface Bishoujo statue, and I believe they've also made a Beetlejuice and a Pinhead. I'm not entirely sure if the Pinhead was theirs, but there's also one. The reason I bring this up is because I find it very interesting that they decided to go for SNK Heroines to choose a character to make one of these statues for. Now, a lot of the female characters in SNK Heroines are already in KOF 98, aside from a few that were introduced later down the line, but I don't think they would go for those characters. The only reason I can think of for them to specifically go after SNK heroines is for a female Terry statue. And given the fact that they are known for taking male characters and turning them into female characters for their statues, female versions of themselves to make statues out of, what better character to make a statue out of female Terry Bogard? You already have the design. You don't have to do any extra work for it. You have the design. All you gotta do is turn it into a figure. Now, if you ask who might be the character that they grab out of KOF 98, I honestly have no idea, because KOF 98 was literally made as a version of the game where all existing characters up to that point could be playable, so that people could just have the dream matches that they've always wanted. So KOF 98 has a bunch of female characters. Obviously you got the popular ones like Mai Shiranui, King, Athena, I want to say Yuri, but I don't feel like Yuri is as popular as on par as Mai Shiranui. I mean, Mai has her own subreddit, for God's sakes, you know. So if it's gonna be anything, I'm 100% certain it's gonna be Mai Shiranui. I'll be happy to be wrong. If I'm wrong and they choose someone else that is not Mai, I'll be happy about it. But I definitely feel like if they're gonna make a pretty lady statue out of anybody, it's gonna be their most popular female character, Mai Shiranui, and there's no way it is not that. So that was it for the first bit of news. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and who do you want Kotobukiya to make a statue out of? What are the female characters that you want, or which ones do you think it's blatantly obvious that they're going to go for? Again, I stand by Mai Shiranui from KOF 98 and female Terry Bogard from SNK Heroines. And now for our second bit of news, probably the most important one that came out sometime last week as well as of recording this. It is the tweet that ignited the flame, the tweet that had SNK fanboys screaming to the skies and hope and thanking the fighting game gods by none other than Oda-san himself. Let's take a look at the tweet. So Mr. Oda-san took to Twitter to calm the flames that were rapidly rising of everybody scared and just horrified at the idea that KOF 15 may not have RollBack netcode on it. So Oda-san himself took to his Twitter and decided to post, and I quote, which on side note, but by the way, I love that he added on his name KOF 15 in development. I believe that was added around the time where we still hadn't heard anything or seen any of the characters yet. So we were all like, what's happening? Are they working on it? Is it gonna happen? Was it not real? Was it all a dream that we saw? It's hilarious that he decided that it was necessary to put on his Twitter handle KOF 15 in development. Amazing. But he wrote, great to see lots of passionate hashtag SNK RollBack fans. You will be happy to hear that we have been working hard on an internal RollBack solution for KOF 15 from early in the dev cycle. There is still a lot of work remaining, so we can't make any promises yet, but please be patient. Now, addressing, let's address the elephant in the room. They obviously know how huge of a thing it is for their game to have rollback. I personally had no doubts at all that KOF 15 wasn't gonna have rollback. I was 100% certain, and I still am. I'm 100% certain that KOF 15 is going to have rollback netcode. The only reason for it to come out and not have rollback netcode is if they just want the game to die on release. If for whatever reason SNK and Oda-san and everybody working on KOF 15 decide, you know what, we want this game to fail and we want this game to not work, let's not put rollback in it. That's the only reason KOF 15 would not have rollback in it. Now, they obviously know how much of a huge impact having rollback in their game is going to do. I mean, they implemented into KOF 98, they recently implemented into KOF 2002 Unlimited Match on Steam, and then ported that same version with rollback to the PlayStation 4. They know how important and how lucrative it is for a fighting game to have rollback netcode on it. I can assure you, they probably didn't make millions of dollars from the KOF 02 UM ports, both on the PS4 and on Steam. They probably didn't make a shit ton of money, but they probably made a well amount of money for a game that's over 10 years old almost. So I'm 100% certain that they know and they are conscious of how important it is, especially how one of their most sold fighting game ever is dead in the water right now because it doesn't have rollback, because it's running off of delay based netcode. Samurai Showdown does not have rollback and nobody is playing it because the delay based netcode is just so horrible that nobody wants to tolerate it, unless they're in Japan, of course. And the other reason that I am certain that KOF 15 is gonna have rollback, besides the fact that they implemented into 2 of their games already, is the fact that after seeing how much praise and how much acknowledgement is going on with how incredible Arc Systems Works rollback netcode is and was handled in the Guilty Gear Strive open beta, it is impossible for them to not be aware and to not see how much praise and how much just word of mouth is going on about how incredible the online experience was, of how incredible it was to play against someone across the world and for it to feel amazing, and how much people just want to play it even more just because the online felt that good. And I played that open beta, and the rollback netcode that Arc System Works cooked in-house, their own version of rollback, it is like magic. It is incredible. They're doing some satanic voodoo brujo shit over there at Arc System Works because that rollback is incredible. That online netcode is incredible. So it is impossible for the guys at SNK to not see that. They were on the on the Japan fighting game round table. Pretty sure Oda-san himself asked Daisuke Ishiwatari, how is it that Guilty Gear's online netcode during that open beta, which was running when they did that roundtable, how is it that it was so good, that it was so incredible and so impressive. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it may have been Harada that asked Daisuke about the rollback. Either way, it was talked about right in front of the SNK guys, and they saw it, they heard it, and they've done it with 02 and 98. So at this point, the only reason that they wouldn't add rollback netcode is because they just don't want the game to succeed. It's the only reason I can see. It's the only reason for them to say let's not add rollback. Now, there is a very interesting thing here on the tweet that he said, and that is right here where it says we have been hard working on an internal rollback solution for KOF 15 from early in the dev cycle. And then he goes on and says we can't make any promises yet, but please be patient. That, I might say, could be a little bit worrisome, because just the way Japanese business goes, they don't like using anything that isn't made in-house. Anything that they haven't, that isn't something that they made, they don't like using. It's just the way Japanese business work, and it's been like that forever, which, whatever. But they have to know that if they don't make this work, and if their online is not on par, at least with something like Guilty Gear Strives, it is not gonna work out. If it's not on par with with what they did with 02 it is not gonna work, and the game is gonna be dead in the water on release. Not necessarily, it might have a few months of life, but then everybody that can handle the awful netcode are just gonna leave, and the only people that are gonna be left playing are the ones that are willing to struggle through the horrible netcode just to play a game that they love. Now, that's not saying that it's impossible for them to not make a internal online netcode that is on par with rollback netcode, or their own brand of rollback netcode. It's not impossible. We saw it again with Arc System Works. They did their own in-house made rollback GGPO netcode. But if Arc System Works can do it, I'm pretty sure SNK can work out their own, or maybe just ask the ask ArcSys for help, because there's something that we've learned from those Japan fighting game roundtables, that these companies are willing to come together and talk about the industry, talk about the fighting game community as a whole. And if they're willing to do that, sure as hell hope they're willing to work together for the benefit of everybody. That's just what it comes down to. Good online is going to benefit everybody. It's going to benefit them, and it's going to benefit us. It's going to benefit us because we're going to want to play it, and more people are going to be playing it. It's going to benefit them because more people are going to be playing their game, which means more people are going to be buying their game. Now, that was about it for this first edition of Dream News Never Ends. I still don't know if that's the title I'm gonna be going for, but it is the one for today. I couldn't come up with anything better, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the Kotobukiya x SNK collab. Let me know what you guys think about the situation of the KOF 15 rollback netcode. Is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? If you have any doubts, or were you like me and you were like, there's no fucking way they're not gonna put rollback into this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe so you don't miss the next edition of Dream News Never Ends, and of course those lovely KOF trailers every Wednesday. See you guys in the next video.